Hey everyone, it's Michael. Today I'm going to be talking about a book that maybe people will be a little bit surprised about because I finally have a Slappy book review for the first time in a very long time. I'm trying to wait until I get to about Halloween time to read the Halloween novelizations of Goosebumps Haunted Halloween, or 2, or whatever you'd like to call that particular movie, book, whatever. So I'm kind of waiting until I get to that. And then, of course, my birthday is November, so I'm going to pick up on the Slappy World series, God willing, and dig into that and do some reviews and stuff. But we'll get there when we get there, guys. Anyway, for this review, we're going to be talking about R.L. Stine's Goosebumps Presents TV episode, which these are the TV books, by the way. Number 5, Night of the Living Dummy 2. Now, this is not written by R.L. Stine. This is an adaptation of the TV episode directly into a shorter book form, about 65 pages long. It's adapted by Carol Ellis. And I think for the most part, Carol does pretty good. I think the last book I read, she did that adaptation as well. I could be wrong, but I think she did. And I remember it being pretty good, too. She has a good way of making it feel like the way R.L. Stine writes. Very much like I always respect the TV show for always doing a good job of feeling like how R.L. Stine writes the actual stories. You can tell that they actually studied the material a little bit, even if they're just adapting the episodes to a TV format. You can tell that they wanted to get the feel, the texture of the episodes, or the books themselves, down, even if they're not always entirely faithful. But you can tell they have respect for the source material. But anyway, getting to this book, this is not super special. Like I said, it's basically a direct novelization of the TV episode itself. If you've seen the TV episode of Night of the Living Dummy 2, you probably may or may not be a fan. You may or may not want to pick up this book. This book is not hard to find. You can get a copy of it on the internet like it's nothing right now. And it's okay. I'm not super in love with this episode, with this particular book based on the episode. I'm not a big fan of the episode either. It's fine. I don't think it comes close to Night of the Living Dummy 3, that two-parter the TV show did, or Bride of the Living Dummies adaptation for that matter. I think both of those are way, way better than this. Those have tension. Those are creepy sometimes. This particular episode, not so much. This particular book, not so much. This book, I think, has a little bit more of a creep factor than the actual episode had. You're not focused so much on a cheesiness and a silliness, you know? This is more of just a short story, 65 pages long, a huge font compared to most Goosebumps books. Your classic series has a smaller font than this book itself. And like I said, being a way shorter story, it's like half the size of a Goosebumps book. But really, when you actually factor in the font size change, it might be a third of an entire Goosebumps book, you know, from the classic era. It's crazy. But I still had a mostly okay time reading this. It was just fine. Like I said, these TV books don't really impress me. If you've already seen the TV episodes, the adaptations of these stories from the original series, then you don't have a whole lot to look forward to most of the time, unless you're excited for some changes here and there. Some endings to the stories are changed every once in a while for the TV episodes. This one's not that big of a deal. I actually think the book, the novel, is better, in my opinion, than the actual TV episode and this, as far as I know. I think I said that in my episode review for Night of the Living Dummy 2. But I don't know if I said that for sure or not. But that's really the way I feel. I think the book itself is better than everything that's come after it adaptation-wise, including this. It's fine, it's short. Basically, a young girl, for anybody who doesn't know the story of this particular book. It's kind of the same thing Night of the Living Dummy always is, but in a little bit of a different way. This girl has a ventriloquist dummy that she always brings to her family talent show night thing, where her family shows off their skills. Like if her one sister painted something, then they admire that painting for a little bit. If her brother Jed, the younger brother, if he is somebody who likes to film movies, let's say, then they have to watch his movies. You know, the dad plays music on his guitar. I don't know what the mom does. That's her little talent thing. I don't think it was ever stated as far as I know. But anyway, the kids themselves all have to participate in this, and our main character has a ventriloquist dummy named Dennis, and his head keeps falling off. He's very old, very raggedy. His face paint is kind of faded out by now. And her dad got her a new ventriloquist dummy that happens to be Slappy, the ventriloquist dummy that we've all loved, this dummy right here on the cover of the book. And there's something wrong with Slappy. And she happens to find a card inside of his hand, by the way, that she reads these words. They feel like they're another language, basically. And when she reads them, it starts to have weird things happen around the house ever since this dummy got in the house. It may or may not be alive, we're not entirely sure. I think Goosebumps fans are pretty confident what happened and would be able to guess this in a heartbeat if they're familiar with Slappy stories. Again, the book, this particular book, I think is a little bit better than the TV episode in some aspects because it can be creepier. But not by much. Not by much. And it's not that I'm factoring this on whether it's good because of how scary it is. That's not how I read these Goosebumps books and review them. I just want to be entertained, and I think these TV books a lot of the time lose me because of that very reason. They're not super entertaining a big majority of the time. But, again, it was fine. It's just an okay book. I don't really recommend it very highly. If you're a collector of Slappy, definitely get it. If you're a fan of the original TV show, or the TV episode itself, get it. You might love this, having it as a collectible. Again, it's not expensive to get a copy of this right now, so that's good. That's pretty practical for people. But for the most part, I'm not super in love with this book. It's just fine. When it comes to Goosebumps Presents TV episode number 5, Not a Living Dummy 2, if I had to rate this book on a 5-star basis, I think I'd give it like a 3 out of 5, and it's kind of a weak 3 out of 5. It's just okay. You know, it's fine. I don't have really any negatives at all about it. It's just a very rushed story, but that's how the TV episodes already are, so I don't blame the adaptation novelization itself. But that doesn't mean it's good and acceptable at the same time. It's really bland, but it's Slappy, so I'm excited I got to do at least a Slappy review at some point. It's been a while since I've done a Slappy review. I think the last one was it Slappy New Year, I think? I think Slappy New Year was the last one I got to do, I believe. I don't know. It's been a while. But there you go. Got a Slappy review out there for you. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this book? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you think about it? Did you thought it was kind of boring too? If you like the TV episode, do you think that's better than this? Do you think the original book tops it all like how I do? I'd love to hear all your thoughts down below. I can't even talk. That's how just tired and exhausted I am tonight. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long day. It's been a long 2 days, as a matter of fact. It's only Tuesday. I have 3 more days of this nonsense. Anyway, may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today. Again, 3 out of 5 stars for me. God bless you. Goodbye.